the next 90 minutes. The breaking news today in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns get their pass rusher back. Adam Schefter joins us for what led to the decision with Myles Garrett. And Tedy Bruschi, this is good. Does he agree with it? He's got some thoughts.
I imagine. Plus, Tiger Woods is on the course as we speak. We're going to catch up with our caddy, Michael Collins, who's at Riviera. You ready, El?
Yes, ma'am.
Starts now.
This is SportsCenter.
Zion joins an exclusive list of teenagers with an incredible performance against the Blazers. We go live to Pelicans practice after his career high. Plus, where Tom Brady winds up, our NFL reporter tells you why even TB12 has no idea. And Boston speaking for the first time since trading Mookie Betts. But why all the talk at Red Sox spring training is about Jeter. We'll explain coming up next.
You knew what you was doing when you named me Jeter.
I could have, shushed him the game, but it was all about having fun the game.
We start this 90-minute Sports Center with breaking news. Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett has been reinstated from his indefinite suspension by the NFL. The Browns announced today Garrett's ban for striking Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph over the head with a helmet saw him missing the final 6 games of the season. For more on this, let's bring in Adam Schefter, who joins us now. And Shefty, what more can you tell us about Commissioner Goodell's decision to reinstate him today?
Well, this was what the NFL wanted and intended to do all along. They just wanted to sit down with Myles Garrett this week, which they did on Monday, to hear from him that he understood the severity of his actions, that he had learned from them, grown from them, and would not repeat them. And I think the league heard everything that it needed to hear on Monday, which is why today it reinstated Myles Garrett. But again, when the league handed down that suspension last season with 6 games remaining that took him off the field for the rest of the season, the plan and thinking was always, hey, we're not trying to keep him out of the league. We want him back in the league. We want to give him some time to think about it. And once he thinks about it, then we'll bring him in to discuss it. And obviously the league was impressed with everything that it heard from Myles Garrett. It reinstated him. That reinstatement is effective immediately. Now, interestingly enough, Garrett is going on a humanitarian mission next week to West Africa to help solve the water issues there, and he's going to be helping kids there. But he's now reinstated, effective immediately, and that's a big win for him and the Cleveland Browns.
Shefty, to your point, I don't think anybody thought that his career would be over, but are you surprised at all that the suspicion didn't carry over, at least into this upcoming season?
No, not in the slightest. And in fact, I was saying the countdown last year at that time that the league did not want it and intended to carry over, that was not the plan. And the league felt like he had served his time. I think the only surprise to me is that they would meet on Monday and less than 48 hours later announce he's reinstated. And that tells you how sure the league was that it wasn't going to hold him out much longer and how much the league wanted him back in the league, feeling that he had already served his time. Again, met Monday, reinstated Wednesday. He's eligible to take part in the Browns off-season program now.
All right, Adam Schefter joining us with the latest on the breaking news. Myles Garrett has been reinstated. The Browns are weighing in as well. Vice President of Football Operations and General Manager Andrew Berry had this to say on Garrett's reinstatement. We welcome Myles back to our organization with open arms. We know he's grateful to be reinstated, eager to put the past behind him and continue to evolve and grow as a leader. We look forward to having his strong, positive presence back as a teammate, player, and person in our community.
All right, welcome in our Tedy Bruschi now. That's kind of the insider perspective on it from Adam Schefter. We've heard the franchise weigh in with their statement. They're actually the ones that announced this earlier today. I want the players' perspective. Did the NFL get this right or wrong?
If I'm Myles Garrett, I'm thanking my lucky stars that it's over, that I get to play, because even if I was at the league office, it'd be 8 games and he'd get 2 additional, because there's one thing I think the league missed here, and it's sending the message into this season that this is basically unacceptable. This image, it's not about who started it and the whole situation. It's the image of a player swinging a helmet at a player that isn't wearing one. And so the word indefinite was strong. It was strong.
That's right.
Indefinite was strong. So then you're 6 games. So now if I'm a player, what does indefinite truly mean? Does it mean, okay, if this happened to Myles Garrett in maybe week 4, would he have been suspended the entire season to make it a 12-game suspension? So if I ever get an indefinite suspension, does it matter where it is in the season? And all I have to do is go and have that meeting with the commissioner and show him how contrite I am and how sorry I am for everything, and then get it lifted? So what I'm saying basically is inconsistency, right? I would have liked for the league and the players to know we're starting at 8 games here, fellas. Something like this can happen. It's going to be 8 games because we are emotional people, especially defensive players, and I don't see why. I mean, this can possibly happen again, but maybe another example of something, of a player committing a violent act on the field, and then what do you do from there?
You have a problem with the word indefinite then?
Yes.
That's your problem here.
I thought the indefinite meant for the rest of the season, okay? And so if they went to the playoffs, and then there's a different element of it that they make it that they didn't, but basically here, indefinite meant 6. That's how many he lost. And so I thought that was too lenient. That 2 would have been the not a season, not throw him out the league. I thought half a year would have been fine because this was probably something I had never seen before, something that violent to a player that didn't have a helmet on, and setting a precedent.
There you go, making it a little more clearly defined. You swing a helmet, you get 8 games, automatic suspension. It is what it is.
But the definition of indefinite is it's not definite.
Yeah. Thank you.
Does it mean the rest of the season? So it matters when I do something that's indefinite? I mean, what
Teddy.
are we doing here?
Still ahead, much more on Myles Garrett in case you missed it. First takes initial reaction to Garrett's reinstatement. Max and Stephen A., well, they don't agree on what happened this morning. That more still ahead on this story on SportsCenter.
They don't agree?
Well, I don't know if they'd have a show if they. What if they agreed about everything?
It would be very boring. You know what was not boring last night? The Blazers and the Pelicans, in particular because Zion Williamson, he was back from injury, had an ankle injury. What injury? Because the Blazers had a 24-3 run in the first quarter, and then the Pelicans just started trying to make their way back, leaning on Zion. He attacks here a couple of times on Hassan Whiteside. Pelicans down by 12. Late second quarter now. Pelicans back in this thing. Shot clock winding down. Drew Holiday to Zion. Get up. He can do it. 17 points in 16 minutes for the rookie in the first half. And the Pelicans storm back and trail only by 2 at intermission. So in the third is where we pick it up. And the game's tied at this point because it was a good game for a little while. Holiday misses the turnaround. Zion is there. He had his way with every defender. 7:14 to go. Pelicans up 5. It's Zion again. Carmelo said, I don't think that he is comparable to anyone that I've ever seen. Under 7 to go. It's Zion to Trevor Ariza with the dunk. Great move to Zion. Brandon Ingram likes what he sees. Zion had 31 points in 28 minutes. Pelicans lead, and it would just get worse from there. That's a nice lob and a nice dish. They'd go up by 10 there and eventually win 138-117 off a career finish for Zion, who's all, I just do what I do.
I expect to make an impact, but I don't expect to do nothing like this. Just kind of look to come in, just kind of fit in, just not try to mess up. But my teammates and coaches are always pushing me, saying no, be outside the box.
He's one of those guys that, it doesn't matter where he plays or what we do. It's always Zion, Zion, Zion. We've got a lot of veteran guys that want him to grow and want him to be a great player and have helped him in every way that they possibly can.
What did you think of his night tonight with 31 points?
Expected. Honestly, man, I don't see anybody that can guard him.
I feel like he's still not even in the shape he can be in. It's kind of scary thinking about what he can do in the future, but we'll take 31 every night.
Hey, you know what? Let's roll through some teenagers, huh? Zion at 19 joins an exclusive list. Starting with LeBron in 2003, he was just 18 and playing in his 17th career game against the Grizzlies of at least 31 points and 9 rebounds. KD, 19 years old, tall drink of water, playing for the Sonics.
Oh, man. Rest in peace.
Ironically, against the Golden State Warriors. Most recent, Luka Doncic, en route to winning Rookie of the Year last season, came in one of his 14 triple-doubles as he went for 35, 12, and 10. And now Zion needed fewer than 30 minutes to accomplish the stat line. The last rookie to do it before Zion was the Knicks' Cassie Russell in November.
Yeah.
Who doesn't remember? 1966.
He was on my fantasy team that year.
Oh, Cassie.
ESPN Pelicans reporter Andrew Lopez was there last night. He's been with the team all morning at practice. So, Andrew, tell us what's been the reaction to Zion's career night.
You kind of just heard it from Drew Holiday a second ago. It's expected now, which is crazy to think about. We're expecting a 19-year-old kid to come in and put up 30 points a night. So the fact that they were able to get that production level out of him, Josh Hart said it's scary to think about what he can do. We go back to Alvin Gentry. Alvin says he hasn't even scratched the surface yet of what he can do. So the fact that he is where he is right now is kind of remarkable to them.
It really, and really, I think it's the comfortability, the ease with which he's done it, considering he missed 44 games and then played 8, missed another one. He just keeps dominating at 6'6", these grown men that were supposed to give him a hard time. Andrew Lopez joining us after Zion's career night. You mentioned this is supposed to happen for Zion. He's actually averaging better than 20 points per game. He's racking up 189 points through the first 9 games of his career. Only #1 picks over the last 30 seasons with more points than Zion over that span were Shaq and Iverson. And they, of course, Matt, went on to both win Rookie of the Year.
It tends to be a good thing. Still ahead on SportsCenter.